Welcome everybody to another episode of Retireholics. That's our new intro song. We'll be playing it for the rest of the year. I don't know who that is.
Oh God, please don't.
Let's see. We're just gonna go straight into headlines. Brandon, you got a little graphic for that? Thank you. Yo. What up, my 401k peeps? It's been 2 weeks, too long. It's good to see you again. Transamerica, good old Transam, and Smart partner on a pooled employer plan. I saw this headline and I started scratching my head. I was like, wait a second. Smart, to remind everyone, was this company that came over from the United Kingdom, and they had crushed it in the United Kingdom with their version of pooled employer plans over there. They're the main go-getter when it comes to those things. So they figured, hey, let's reconfigure this, come over to the United States and crush it over there. So much to my concern or confusion when I'm like partnering with Transamerica, I thought Smart was a record keeper. So does anyone have the answer to this, or are you as confused as me?
I thought they were doing more financial wellness when they came over and rolling out their solution on originally the Trans platform. I thought they were always utilizing their back office.
No. So I picked up the phone and I called Danielle Mamuisisisif. And sure enough, she confirmed all of my suspicions. And she didn't tell me I couldn't share this information, so I'll share it with y'all. Turns out that Smart got over here, and maybe our guest can comment on this a little later. Smart got over here and we're I don't want to say unprepared. They got caught off guard with the complexities of the United States regulations as it relates to ERISA and 401k.
That's a new one.
Mm-hmm. And so self-admittedly, they say, whoa, okay, we still want to be a record keeper, but we're gonna put it off, or not put it off. We're gonna need to be working on it for the next few years till we come to fruition. But in the meantime, let's pivot. We've got some sick technology, according to them, and
What is it?
And we
Pivot. Mark was waiting for it,
and we can lay it on top of record keeping platforms like Transamerica. So I said, tell me more, Danielle. What are you talking about? And she said, look, it's like about
too late, Brandon. You can't. No.
It's like their enrollment process. We might talk to Kevin about this later. Like, we can enroll people in 10 minutes or less and bring them on and set them up. So that's kind of the thing with this. But I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention because it caught me off guard. I don't know. You're a big shot, Kevin. Do you pay attention to Smart? They had a couple $100 million in VC-backed funding. Damn it, I didn't do that one on purpose.
No, honestly, I'm not being a dick. I just haven't heard of them before, except for this.
No, I think they're pretty under the radar, but they did look them up. They did have, I want to say, north of $100 million in funding to get this.
Well, and they weren't starting from the ground up.
We can talk about that. That's not a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, great. We're going to talk all about that. I love it. I'm excited.
Funding is funding.
I'm excited.
It's what you do with that money.
Funding is funding. All right.
So anyways, don't forget to kind of check in on Smart. They bought Stadion, the money manager. Did you have a thought, Chad, before I move on?
Well, I guess I'm just a little curious. We know that the pooled employer plan space, Trans has multiple solutions there, right? They partner with Tag in the past. They've built out other different back office solutions.
They've bought Tag, by the way. Just so
they have now. Remember the conversation we used to have?
Very distracting background.
Sorry.
It is a little loud. The conversation we used to have when, people would come to us and say, we want to use Plan Premier at American funds. We would say, well, essentially it's the chassis of Great West and Fast Core. Like, maybe we should look directly at that. I feel like that's almost where we're getting to
that, just so you know.
I like this,
in the
Chad.
pooled employer space, is that if we're going to be using Trans's chassis and Trans's systems and Trans's back office and Trans's technology, why don't we just go straight to Trans?
Yeah, right. Well, Smart would tell you because they've got this overlay of a user experience that's slick. Remember Chad Parks with Ubiquity? You know that name, Kevin? Chad Parks with Ubiquity?
Yeah.
And the deal that he did with Principal Financial Group. Why did Principal do that deal with Chad then, Chad?
Well, I mean, that one made sense for both sides. Principal is not profitable in that micro market space. They didn't want to touch it. And Ubiquity's looking, saying, we've got the scalability to go ahead and offer this. We don't need the marketing. We don't need the wholesalers. We don't need to pay those people to get out there and bring us business because Principal's going to do it all for us.
Is this a big deal at all? I mean, do you guys sell a lot of pooled employer plans?
I like this guy.
Oh,
Transamerica does, yeah.
What did they sell? I mean, honestly, we don't even compete with.
You know what's going to be fun?
Neither
Neither
do
do
we.
we.
Times, like Fidelity
Kevin,
tried
that's the
building
funny
a
part.
pad.
Neither do we. In that
Kevin,
micro
What?
space.
What'd you say?
What's going to be a lot of fun is
I heard it too, Mark.
you know,
Okay.
when they
Yeah.
file their,
Three already.
I'm waiting for when they file their 5500s, and we'll be able to dig through all of their numbers and see how successful some of these pooled employer plans have been and how many are other. But it's nice to hear you say, Kevin, because I've gotten in some recent fights with pro pooled employer plan people and saying, look, my guys sell, you know, a couple hundred plans in the course of a year, and we never run into them. But to see you who's selling like 15,000 plans in a year, and you're saying you're not running into them, makes me
Never.
think, you know?
Never.
Yeah, interesting.
We never
I think it's all
compete against.
conspiracy,
I've never
really.
heard that.
Okay, let's show Kevin what we're all about. Let's spin the wheel of ice, get it out of the way. Spin it up.
The wheel of ice, the wheel of ice.
It's been so long, I don't even remember who
damn
had it.
Damn, Katie. I feel like you've been getting
He's like a-
hammered, like getting.
Oh,
this
it's
a lot
Malort.
lately.
It's Malort again. Okay.
He's batting 600
How about
on
the Malort?
in 2023.
I'll let you then set this one up, Chad. This was an article that our beloved chat bar guest, Jim Sampson, was in.
Is he even here today?
I don't know.
He was
Is he?
Samso was here earlier.
It is
Assuming he still
titled
is.
Why More Advisors Are Assuming. No, wait, that's not the article, is it?
There he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, why more advisors are assuming the 338 role responsibility, but it goes on more to talk about the core menu and why in this. That is not the article. I'm sorry, I'm on my iPad.
The
here.
article is about setting up a core menu in an
Yeah.
unprecedented times. You have inflation climbing, you have
Thank you.
interest rates changing, and it goes on to say, well, a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do now, and Samson and some others were ahead of the game and have always had investments in the menu, like I don't even know, Treasury, some of the tips.
Tax-
Yeah,
I'll
something
drink
like
to
that.
one.
Yeah, just say the acronym.
No,
Um,
isn't it Treasury
No, he's
inflation
right.
securities?
All,
Yeah,
all
I'll
I know
quote.
as I read that article, my first thought was, no way that Jim Sampson said any of this. So I believe that he had artificial intelligence do it for him.
Do it for him. There's a theme through this article, and maybe we'll get Kevin's thought on this first, and then punt it to you guys. There's a theme in this article is they're interviewing advisors where they're explaining how their process is to be hands-on and one-on-one education, and how this is an important role, mostly when they're sitting with people who are older, have built up some wealth. They're reaching their retirement age. We all know about sequence of return risks and all that kind of jazz. But in this, as Chad mentioned, in this high inflation mode, where, by the way, fixed income performed horribly throughout 2022, it's these advisors that are kind of waving their flag of being proud of, like, look, we're the ones that are able to talk to these people, give them other strategies in the core menu, and help them. So my question is a simple one. Is that a cool thing? Like, is that something advisors should be proud of going forward? Is that a reason why they exist? Or can we just replace these fuckers with AI bots and those, they can help them with the same kind of. That's to you, Kevin.
Oh, that's to me. All right. Yeah, we do that. So I don't know. There's a time and place for everybody, I think. We don't do individual investment advice. So we don't have, we're not individual investment advisors. So we don't take that sort of customization. We have a set fund menu. that essentially we deliver a model portfolio to you through with like a suitability algorithm. So we don't take the individual route at all. And that's intentional because of the RIA. We're like internet-based RIA, not a damn it, investment advisor. So we take a different approach, but I totally see value in having these advisors, but I don't know that, you know, guaranteed income and all that sort of stuff is right for 401k.
Well,
I
this,
love how Kevin answers on behalf of Guideline as opposed to just like the industry as a whole, but that was insightful. That's good. So Chad, back to you. Like, it made me my heart kind of swell of like, wait, there's a place for these guys and girls. And if they execute well, like this could be important to plan sponsors.
for nearly 15 years, well, not quite, because the share class game was heavy 10 years ago and beyond, but I've essentially set the stance of like the investments are irrelevant from provider to provider, because you're going to get an institutionalized share class. And if you're a good advisor or good 338, you're going to be able to set up something solid. That story is starting to change. I think with some of the opportunity to set up certain investments, maybe guaranteed is one of those, maybe fixed income is a different one. What I struggled with in this article, and JD, my heart did swell. My heart swelled saying people are
You guys
proactively
should
thinking
probably
about the
go to the
lineup
doctors once in a while.
and doing something that
Cholesterol.
is in the best interest of the participants, that creates some complexity and makes it harder for them to run their reviews. And in the article, Samson's talking about, I had to tell clients like, hey, I know there's no money in this. There's been no money in it for 5 years, but at some point we may need it. Well, that point's now. What I didn't like and what
Look
bothered
at you,
me,
Jim, just like thinking ahead.
Kevin, you're gonna love this. What bothered me in that, JD, is the strategies that he's talking about. Having access to many different fixed income solutions doesn't really exist in the micro small market space. Your fixed income opportunities are with the record keeper in which you're choosing.
Very few,
And
right? You might have
because
a lot
that's
of
where they're getting their spreads.
Yeah.
And so I think while I loved that article, I looked at it going, fuck, here we are again. The upper market is getting access to stuff that the small market can't because of profitability for these record keepers.
That's a good point. If you're an older participant in a small micro market plan with all the record keepers we don't have to name now, your advisor couldn't even go in and add any kind of like interesting fixed income option to the menu because they're not available. So
they can't have a competing fund with
what is. We'll move on from this, but I do think it's so funny that, you know, these regional banks are on the headlines now. And Kevin, I was a proud member of the Silicon Valley Bank, so that's where I banked.
Sorry, man.
But not only did all these banks not foresee that interest rates were going to go up, which to me is silly because we all knew that they were eventually going to have to go up, but also the target date funds in our industry had these sleeves that were negatively impacted by this. Like the very income funds that we relied on had bad investment choices in this area. And we all knew that this was coming, but yet we failed to make any real decisions around it that helped anybody. And everyone just got fucked by it. Basically, we followed the same old asset allocation model. And a lot of people got fucked when equities and fixed income went down at the same time, but we'll move on. American retirement.
Hold on, let me make one more comment, JD, because we're talking about the inflation and the effects of interest rates. On 3 different calls in the past week on the cash balance side, there's been a struggle, not ours. Cash balances where I'm analyzing, but it would happen on ours too, where advisors were heavy in the bond market because it's a cash balance. We're looking at 3 to 5% rate of return, and they got annihilated. I mean, they're looking at a 7 to 8 to 9% negative rate of return for the market in 2022 in some of the investment portfolios they created, and the minimum funding for the cash balance is high. This goes back to the point of the heart swelling, like advisors who are staying in tune with the market, who are actively helping their clients, especially in the cash balance space, actively helping them create a menu that is meaningful to the current day and not just setting it and forgetting it. There's a huge value there that I think wasn't talked about since 2010. We've been on this heavy bull run. Like it hasn't been a big conversation and it needs to be.
It's definitely more viable now. This is how it always works, right? In finances is now that we've gone through what we've gone through, you could sit down with prospects, plan sponsors, and talk to them about the nuances around rising inflation rates and the type of investments you could have in your plan and why didn't you? So it could be a great sales tactic. But I want to move on to the American Retirement Association and how they have just some genius people over there in the marketing space. Let me explain. Recently, the ARA has come out with a debate. And Kevin, Mr. Guideline, notice when I go afoul of the rules, I don't drink from my Mexican lager. I drink from the fucking vodka.
And
That he
You
filled
should
with
follow
water.
suit.
Don't worry, Kevin.
They recently came out with a podcast that was a debate style show pitting two people against each other. I actually participated on that. Isn't that innovative? Isn't that cool? And then recently they came out to promote their spring national conference with, wait for this,
A poem.
a poem.
Did you
Like,
write that?
using poetry.
Yeah, I was wondering, was this 75 related or no?
Yeah.
No, but where do they
sure?
get these?
I honestly thought, I'm like, oh, geez, why are you promoting?
Totally did.
stuff?
Where do they
Yep.
get these great ideas? I don't know. So we'll move on. Income
Hey,
America.
hold
our
on.
friend,
No. Toot your horn, JD. I've sent your great debate with Pete Swisher on to a number of people now. Damn, dude, that was 19 minutes of enjoyment. Like that, the way that you guys handled that, John, getting you guys to come at one another, but in a respect, like it was solid. It was really good session. You guys did that well.
Thank you, Chad. I appreciate
It was
that.
mostly Sullivan pulling it out of you, but
I think I KO'd fucking Pete, but I'd be curious what the chat bar thinks. I gotta be kidding me.
I missed that.
Okay, Matt Wolnowitz, our buddy, is now at Income America, and if you remember Income America, it was this consortium of what was it? American Century, State Street Global, I don't know,
Lincoln.
a bunch of different companies. And here's the news. Hey, guess what? You can get Income America and Nationwide Financial. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I would have thought that would happen eventually since Nationwide is part of the consortium. However, as you read this article, I start to get more and more confused, and I don't know how these things work. So it doesn't seem like Income America is now like a guaranteed option at Nationwide. Based on this article, it looks like through the managed account service offering and specifically through Pro Accounts, which is Nationwide's proprietary managed accounts, you can gain access to Income America. Is that how you all read this?
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I don't
So
know if
is
it's
it-
gain
that's-
access or if it's a sliver inside the Pro Accounts.
Is
fixed
Pro Accounts
income
just using it
component.
as
That's kind of
one
the
their
way I
things?
read it, is that they're using it as a guaranteed fixed income portion
think-
of their
I
portfolio.
thought that was only one of two options. No, that was the first.
No, they
option.
talked about their target date is also
Right,
available
right.
in the program. But here I go again. I feel like, and you don't need to throw up the graphic, Brandon. I feel like a lot of these companies are pivoting again. They're going at it one way and then realizing that that's not going to work and then trying some other way. Maybe I'm reading way too much into that, and I apologize because I love a lot of those people, but this whole debate around guaranteed income. Kevin, you're running a big record keeping firm, 40,000 plans. We're going to talk about it the second half of this show.
yeah,
You kind of alluded to this earlier. Do you have very little interest in in-plan guarantees? Is Guideline not looking at this stuff at all? Or are you just, no, you're shaking your
yeah,
head?
we don't look at it at all. Like it's
You're over
not,
it.
it's not in our purview. It's not, we look at retirement up to the event right now, just being like the company that we are, we're developing software up to retirement. After retirement, we're not handling that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So there's plans to?
I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, we have a roadmap, right? And it's in anything in and around retirement. So we're going to start looking at, health savings accounts, all that sort of stuff.
Roadmap. Let me
It's
write down that
facilitated.
roadmap in my notes. I like that. I'm going to come back
Say,
to that.
throw it up.
Um,
You've got to
yeah.
follow those dollars. That's
I
what
think
everybody
this
else
is
is
a-
doing.
It's
I think
really
this
going to
is-
expand. Right?
Everything
You gotta keep
around me,
moving forward.
green, get the money.
Right.
Dollar bill, yo.
I think this is a great time to dive deep in with our guests. So this is that time of the show where you out there in the audience, you're going to rate Justin on his midtro. and he's going to intro our guest at 0 to 10. Remember, people, his job depends on it. So take it away, Justin.
He's a man that seems to have accomplished the impossible and turned JD into a believer after years of talking shit on his company. While the rest of us were scared of the sun during COVID, this man grabbed life by the horns and decided to to get his pilot's license. He's a former Army brat turned self-made millionaire who saw JD's Lambo and raised him by a plane. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Busque or Busque, sorry.
Busque, you got it.
Busque, thank
Nailed
you.
it.
CEO of Guideline.
That was probably
Welcome to the show, Kevin. I'm going to let everyone know how this kind of all started. We were doing a show, I think in late January. And as Justin mentioned, I talked mad shit about Justin. As Justin
got a lot of
mentioned,
vodka.
I talked mad shit about Guideline.
I'm
And
drinking a lot of vodka in my free time. And
Thank you for giving me that button, Brandon.
and
Every time I hear Mark laugh, I think he's actually laughing in real life.
and I wasn't just talking shit about Guideline. I was talking shit about human interest and all the other disruptors out there. But yeah, I took some shots at you. And then you had tuned into one of the shows. And so when I got an email message from you, my first thought was, oh, fuck. Like, oh my God, okay. The guy's actually listening to this shit. Like, and you were actually really polite. You said like, hey, you guys got great show. Like you got a lot right. But, I think you used the word misinformation as well. Like a lot of stuff kind of wasn't totally accurate. And so I really appreciated that you reached out like that. And that kind of gave fruition to where we are now. So now you're here. So if we could, let's split this into two parts. I'd like to start with kind of like the metrics, the finances, the stuff around Guideline, because it's really impressive. And I mean that. I'm not just trying to be nice. And then we'll play a game, and then we can break for the second half where we can talk more kind of about like operational stuff and maybe the future of what you're doing, because Chad likes the nerdy stuff. So you in that email you wrote me, you said, hey buddy, we're pushing 40,000 plans now. That's public knowledge now. We saw a 401k Wire article that tapped you guys in 2022 as selling almost 15,000 plans, which by the way, like that's up there with the paychecks and the actual deferral percentage people. So that's pretty phenomenal. Like no matter whether you like, love, or hate you, like that, you cannot ignore those.
Oh, you're such a third-party administrator that you used actual deferral percentage for what is their name, which is not their name.
The payroll.
What are they called? Fuck, who cares?
Who cares?
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys.
Automatic data processing.
So let's bring us up to speed here. 40,000 plans, 8 billion in assets. What do you think the participant count is? I'm guessing like 750,000 or something, or I don't know.
About 600,000.
600,000
Yeah,
in
right around there.
participants. And how has 2023 gone? Are you still at that pace? Are you exceeding it? Like
We're still at that pace. We had a big Q2 last year with Cal Savers. I don't know if you saw that mandate, you saw that deadline. I know you guys have talked about it a bunch. So we had a big push last year, but we're essentially doing the same as we did last year. Hopefully a little bit more. We got some exciting things to announce in Q3.
you must see.
How do you incentivize your salespeople? What do you do for them?
Jeez. It's a good question. Actually, I don't. They have quotas, and they hit quotas, they get bonuses.
Oh, that sounds awful. Never mind.
Yeah, no quotas.
All that stuff. But we're a product-led company, so you guys would be surprised, but 50% of all of our plans have never talked to an advisor. Self-sold, right? Like come to our website, go through our flow. 8-10 minutes later, they get a 401k.
You think that's direct, Kevin, or do you?
Yeah, that's
or
direct.
Is that? But does that also include a lot of like your gusto relationship and everything?
No, so I would say that it's a little bit different than that. So it's like a 60-40 split for us. So about 60% through payroll partners, 40% direct, but 92% of all of our 401k plans are on an integration with one of our integrated partners with payroll. And that's really important to understand sort of the difference of Guideline and sort of the traditional 401k administrator. We all know 401k is incredibly data heavy. That is sort of our bread and butter, right? As this new age record keeper, we integrate super tightly with all of the payroll companies that are cloud-based and sort of forward thinking, to be able to offer these services and these plans.
But you weren't the first one to go to those types of companies and try to partner up. And I mean this in a positive way for you. Like, there's something that we can learn from you, because long before you came around, we knew that partnering with payroll companies could be a strategy, but we just failed. We didn't make it happen as an industry. And the same is true of all those other integration partners you're talking about. So you did something different to get their attention. So to kind of back to Mark's question, in the beginning and today, did you have a big sales team? Like, did you have people in suits or quarter zips or whatever the fuck they wear running around and talking to people? Or did you literally just build this shit and they came?
Yeah, essentially we've productized, the regulation, it begins with an E, around it. We've done a lot on the plan setup side of things, but we've kept it, when we started, it was incredibly simple. So I saw a question go by here, and like, how did you advise them on all these sort of ins and outs and plans? We offered something very basic. And that's what we started with, and that's what we integrated with. And our first integration was Gusto, and then Rippling was our second. And we chose those folks because they're forward thinking, and we knew we could build APIs that we needed to ingest the data and sort of administer it. Made that 316 much easier.
You can always finish your thought and save up your drink, but that's crazy, Chad. Yeah. So the very reason why I thought you would fall flat on your face was because I didn't think you understood distribution in our industry. And I thought that you've probably heard this before, that this stuff needed to be sold. It would not be bought. Maybe you still are selling it.
That's a great point. Like, we didn't sell it. We didn't have salespeople. We had one.
You did though. You did it through the payroll providers.
The partners.
They were your salespeople. You just said 92% of the business and 60% of the incoming business is coming from them. 92% has a relationship with them. So even if only 60% is coming from them, there's still a significant amount that is because of that relationship, that integration. And JD, we've talked about this for more than a decade. And we even looked into opening up our own payroll solution for a while, because I truly believe that is the necessary step to be an effective offering in the 401k space, that integration.
I can look back on it now, Chad, and say, well, how was what's actual ADP? I'll fucking drink for it. How was them and Paychex get their success? Because they were killing us in our own marketplace, right? They were always the number one and the number two of new plans sold in a year. Now, you can all out there in the chat bar argue about their retention and how long they've kept these plans and how good their service model is or whatever. But my point is that they crushed it and they continue to crush it every year. It sounds like Guideline and Kevin just kind of took a slightly different variation on that strategy and executed on it. So I didn't see that coming.
And we've said for a while, and Kevin, you hit it. You looked at forward thinking payroll solutions, right? You didn't go after ADP and Paychex, which is what others have tried to do in the past. Yeah, I'll drink that. You looked and said, we're a tech-based platform. We want to work with forward-thinking businesses that are willing to go there. And JD, there's a marketplace for that. There's a marketplace for businesses that look at the 401k space and say, I'm sick and tired of what I've seen. I'm sick and tired of the big dogs running the track. And I want something different. And you guys have by far been the successful entity that has tapped that.
So Kevin, one more time on the sales though, but someone had to go over and have a talk with these payroll companies with Gusto and convince them. Like, you had salespeople running around talking to these partners and convincing them to hook up with you, didn't you?
Yeah, no, I did it. I did it. These are my connections. I convinced Gusto to give us a shot.
You yourself did.
Me myself, yeah. So my background's also in software, so I'm not a finance person like y'all.
Neither are we.
More on the tech side. So no, I did it, and I told them what I was building and why I was building it, and it was because of a company that you mentioned, Begins with an A. And that was the experience I had previously, and it was garbage, and I wanted to fix it, and I knew I could fix it being a data person. So I built a record keeper along with my two co-founders. And the trick there is like, we're not finance people. We are software people through and through. Guideline is a software company. And then we just layer on sort of the subject matter experts to help us understand all of the regulations around what we're building and how we should build it. That's the big difference between us and everybody else in the market, quite honestly. And that gives us that advantage when we can go to payroll companies and say, hey, look what we're building. Like, you don't need, you have an easy way to attach to your user base, your payroll company user base, a 401k. And we can pay you for that as a solicitor. So we have solicitation agreements with all the payroll companies. And that was really important, right? Because you all know, well, maybe you know, but when you attach an integrated 401k plan to payroll, the payroll actual retention doubles, right? The stickiness of payroll.
Right, sure.
And
Yeah.
you know, ADP and Paychecks have a retention problem.
Okay,
Guideline does not.
let's stop there for 1 second. And first of all, I say this with as much humbleness as I can have. It's because you've clearly executed, but 360 payroll integration is something that Voya and Empower, when they're called Great West, and Nationwide and Principal, were doing 15 fucking years ago. Like, so, and that didn't take off for us. So we could run around and tell plan sponsors, whether they're new startups or existing plans, hey, if you come with us, you don't have to push a button when it comes to your census. Like, that's in your payroll. That'll just funnel right over to your record keeper. Not a problem. Like, that always existed. So I don't think that that's really what set you off on the pace for 40,000. I think it was you guys waving the flag of low cost, being anti-establishment. I think you marketed yourselves very well as being anti-Wall Street, new Silicon Valley, which I think is, you probably hate me for this, but a lot of smoke and mirrors more than actual shit. But, and people bought on, and then you went to all your partners and they liked it and they kept going. And so again, I stand proven wrong. Like, but help me with that, Kevin. We always had the ability to do 360 payroll integration. You guys didn't fucking invent that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's companies that just do the integration, right? And that's when you end up with all of these middlemen. So what we did in our breakthrough was to become a record keeper, become a 316, do the integration, deliver the product, be the 338, do a turnkey solution for these smaller clients that everybody else was ignoring. And they were ignoring them because they didn't have assets, right? So like the legacy 401k ecosystem couldn't monetize these folks unless they own the whole stack. But guess what? Nobody owned the whole stack.
But Kevin,
It was us.
But Kevin, my father started Plan Design Consultants in 1975, and he was right there in the Bay Area, and he sold plans to startup plans. We're coming up on 50 years.
Yep.
So this market that you're talking about being ignored, we were servicing it for my entire career. My whole company is built on servicing those plans. So to say that the industry was ignoring them, to me, is another one of those kind of political sound bites. Like, that's not really true. We were always running around trying to help small businesses set up 401k plans. A lot of them, all of my clients are those types of plans, but we didn't solve the coverage gap because things stood in their way. It was too expensive. You know, it was too much of an administrative burden, et cetera, et cetera. And I think somehow you spoke to that partly in the product you built, but mostly in your marketing.
And in the process, Kevin is right. And we all know this. With proper payroll integration, you can relieve that plan sponsor. What do we say? 70% of plans have operational mistakes. And those operational mistakes usually happen around timeliness of deposits and the proper withholding and sourcing. And so that side of it is eliminated with proper payroll integration.
Absolutely.
can't-
It's not just contribution syncing. Like, what do you do on payroll reversals, right? Like, it's a nightmare. Like,
Right.
you defund things, like that's a total nightmare. We automated all that because we can do the 360 appropriately. So
Well,
we
Kevin-
have webhooks that when we get told that somebody reversed a payroll, guess what? That like bleeds directly into our system. So there's levels, JD, and I'm sure your father was doing a great job, but maybe had like a distribution / awareness issue there, right? Like, we're in all these marketplaces where a checkbox to a benefit tab, like that stuff didn't exist before for your father, before, Gusto and Zenefits and Rippling and all these others. It just wasn't there. So
Well,
he
and
may have
don't
been doing it, but
And don't forget that these guys sitting next to you, they're not going to sell 14,000, 15,000 plans this year, but they're going to sell several hundred, and they're
Yeah.
going to sell a lot of them in that
13,000.
micro startup market. So we're not at the scale that you are, but
Yeah.
we still do have a solution, and it is sold and it's bought and people are happy with it. And we could go back and
Yeah.
forth on I'm guarantee you there's some third-party administrators in this chat bar that are just smokes coming out of their ears right now
Dying.
because of the value.
Dying.
I'm not going to have that debate with you because I have enough respect for what you've done and how it is succeeding, as much as some of the industry might say that it's not. Before we go into some more of the
No, the
operations-
comment, we have to at least make the comment though, JD, is that when Kevin, you say a plan can be set up in 9 minutes for a step-by-step on the website, I'm not saying I disagree. Obviously, you've set that up. It can be.
Yep.
What, as someone who's been doing this for 15 years that knows the intricacies of the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, it shouldn't be that easy. We're really downplaying the value that consultants bring in this space, the understanding of a client's needs and creating profit sharing that allows them to save, or customizing a program that meets what
Yeah.
they're trying to accomplish.
Chad, them knowing what it is that they're agreeing to.
So that
'Cause-
was the next point, is what percentage of these plans are actually out of compliance? And Shannon, people are saying voluntary compliance program, the time spent in there. You're right. The number of times I see these disruptor plans leaving and coming over, and we're telling them, hey, you got to go to an attorney and we have to fix this and we have to go back and correct that, is very common because they got no damn clue what they just set up.
How about this,
So
Kevin?
we have to at
Yeah.
least make note of that.
Even if you have a payroll feed, if the client's messing up the payroll and not doing it properly, then you're getting improper data, around comp, rehire dates, ownership, a son or a daughter at the company. Like, if they're not using their payroll properly, and I would argue that most micro, flower shops, auto body shops on the corner tend to fuck that shit up.
Yeah.
You might have a lot of problems on your hands. I mean, do you ever lose sleep over that, or?
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
man, I
we
gotta
we
be
definitely, look at that a lot, but I mean, you guys have that same problem, right?
Well, but we don't.
Yeah, well, we can catch
We
it.
look at their census and we're
You look at
dipshit.
their payrolls
Yeah, we go back to them. Yeah. Yeah.
every time they run
Keep
payroll.
laughing at me. That's what, yeah. People in the audience do it too. I know, I get you. I totally agree with you. I'm an idiot.
But I'm not even getting there. I'm talking about the consultation up front to make sure that they know how to run the plan.
Yeah, no, let's talk about that. I think for us and for the plans that we serve, simplicity is really the key there on the micro plans. And you guys may disagree, but I think a lot of the companies specifically that are in our line of business, meaning in professional services, there is a type of plan and has common features that is appropriate for them. And it's not everybody. And that's why we have a GFA product. We have Guideline for advisors. And oops, I guess it's my own acronym.
No, you're
I don't even know what that is, but it's letters.
What
Kevin-
percentage
Yeah,
of
you're right,
plans
you're right.
do have advisors, Kevin?
Oh, sorry. What's that, Justin? Sorry.
What percentage of plans do have
Yeah, so
advisors?
it's about
a small percentage,
12% of our business now.
Yeah, small.
So
So that's still scary, right? If they don't have the guidance or the clients don't know what the heck they're supposed to do, I mean, the chances of them being out of compliance is very high.
I just want you to know that we actually do agree with you on the simplicity standpoint, though.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
I know you
yeah.
have 3 tiers at your company. I can't remember the names, but we also, like, Chad was talking mad shit on you right there a little bit. Chad will sell plans that are a safe harbor match,
Yeah.
that are on a per payroll period basis, that
Exactly.
have a standardized eligibility of like a year and dual entry dates. And he'll literally send an
But-
email along for a new client saying, hey, this one's a basic 1, 2, 3, 4, not a problem. Go ahead and set it up. Tell me we don't do that.
But
Which
yes,
clients are
but
the
let's-
biggest pains in the asses that we sell
those
to every
ones,
year?
sometimes those ones. But
Yeah.
let's quantify this, JD, because you and I have this conversation every February. And let's use a very round number. If I wrote 100 startup, kickstart, super simple, safe harbor match plans, how many of them actually start funding and put in their safe harbor match? Every year, there's at least 5 of the 100
Well, I'm going to
Probably.
argue on
that come back. We set them up in October, right before deadline. And then we're waiting on the record keeper, and the record keeper's
Yeah.
not getting deposits, and we're going back like,
Yeah.
dude, you need to be
You're just-
funding this.
You're just proving Kevin's point now. So if Kevin's the record keeper and he's built it all in and he's a Silicon Valley software stud, he can create technology that will capture that, watch
It's
I'm
not
that,
not-
automatic,
monitor
but
that.
there's
but-
no unfunded contributions.
Yeah.
I don't think that's true, Kevin. I'd like you to honestly
do.
ask your team and look at the 15,000 plans you wrote and tell me how many of them, if you wrote a document in 9 minutes and they signed it, how many of them started funding that plan?
I can't believe I'm
And I
going to
guess
fight
it's
for
the
Kevin
outside
here. I
8%.
can't believe I'm going to fight for Kevin. Chad.
It happens automatically on every payroll run.
And
It
they
does
might-
not.
Imagine
You
you
have
guys-
8% of plans that have no payroll in relationship. So there's 8% of plans of 15,000 a year you're selling that don't have the automatic features associated with it.
No, we have a custodian that we dictate the amount to pull, and that gets pulled in every pay run. That's
No,
where
he's
the
just
match
talking-
comes from.
He's just talking about when your client gets lazy and doesn't do what they're supposed to
And
do.
doesn't set it up in time.
But
Yeah.
but I would imagine that happens everywhere too, and but Kevin's tech could then tell him that that's happening, and then they can reach out proactively, like those
I
types
get
of things.
automatic alerts. I get all that.
I
Stuff.
want to go more to. We're never going to solve this argument of like, because you know what's fun right now, Kevin, is there are some people in the chat bar that are like, legacy 401k people that are very anti what you're doing. I'm going to say this to them because they're my friends too. It's like, I'm not like, I totally understand where your head's at. Like some of these, I
100%.
tried to simplify my father's company, by the way, and cut some corners and do some things differently. You just gone to the next level. And for all those people listening in, he's truly proved that the consumer wants this because they're banging at his door to get it. But so we're not going to solve this argument of kind of old school, hands-on, white glove, look at the details, laugh at me when I look at census and go back to the client type of thing versus efficiency and technology. Let's just leave that there. That's a great little debate for ongoing times. I want to know some more of the numbers before we play a game here. You've had like north of 300 million in venture capital back funding. You tell me how far off I am on some numbers here. Those 40,000 plans you have, you charge 8 basis points on asset based. How much are you tossing to the custodian? Is it 3 of that, and you keep 5, or do you even know how that works?
I know how it works. I don't know the number
That's
off
okay.
the top of my head.
But it's something like that, right? You got to pay
It's
them.
something like that. It's something like that. I want to say it's either it's between 4 and 6, maybe.
Maybe a
It's,
4.
and it's ratcheted depending on the number of.
Maybe a 4-4 split.
Yeah.
If you were taking 5 basis points and you've got 8 billion, that's $4 million in revenue. We know you charge $96 per participant. And so regardless of whether it's the core, the flex, or the max program, I'll put something kind of in between core and flex. I'm imagining you sell a lot of core, right? It's probably your number one go-to.
Correct.
So you said 600 participants. I'm going to just up you to 750 because you're selling right now. So 750 participants, that'd be another 72 million in revenue. Okay. So we got 4 million revenue, 72 million revenue. And then you got this base fee, which again, slants depending upon which one you're using. Sorry, the $8 per participant is the same regardless of core, flex, or max.
Correct.
But now for the base fee, it can vary. And so I'll just kind of ramp it up to 60 per month. And that's another $30 million. So 4 million plus 72 million plus 30 million, you're like $106 million in revenue. I know you've got the Guideline individual retirement account too. So tell me, total revenue annually, and obviously this is a moving target, right? You're growing, but
Yes.
are you at this kind of, am I way off? Like 106? Are you at 150? Are you at 200? Am I missing something?
You're close. We're
close.
approaching 100.
Okay, you're approaching 100. Good. I overestimate, which is great
Yep.
because you're growing, so you'll be there pretty quickly. When the VC, God damn it, when the venture capital throw 300 and whatever $1 million at you, this is not my world.
Yep.
When do they want their money back? How much do they want, on that 300 million? And then what is your roadmap, as you put it, to get there? Like when you do the PowerPoint presentation to them, what are you telling them? Oh, we're going to grow. And by the way, I'm imagining you've exceeded what they'd hoped for. Like in 8 years' time to have 40,000 plans and 8 billion, you're proving that you can do what you're doing. Is more of the PowerPoint also like, look, and then we're going to expand into individual retirement accounts, and then we're going to expand into wellness and guarantee, like to help us understand, because even at 100 million, I'm thinking, well, you're not there yet. Like, I mean, you employ what, 350, 400 people or something like that's going to cut into what, $30 million of that. So
pretty easy.
So,
and
help
don't
us
forget,
understand that.
Yeah, 50% of our company's R&D too. So these are like super highly paid.
Oh,
Silicon Valley. Damn it.
Great for that, but that's worth it. Wow, that's great.
Oh yeah.
So you are not smart.
Wait. What do you say you pay?
I've come to talk with
Hang on.
you again.
Sorry, I distracted there.
You pay a lot of money, you said?
Yeah, I mean,
Research and development.
research and development folks.
I
are
can do
200
that.
plus,
That's what I do
200
all day.
plus year, easy.
Which means
Right, like-
you're not just status quo. This roadmap of yours has bigger plans.
Absolutely.
Help us understand.
We are a software company through and through, and we'll continue to build against that roadmap, right? And like me and my co-founders, we set the roadmap. We have the vision for the product that we want in the end, right? And that does take time.
Which person, yourself or your co-founders, decided the name of the company would be Guideline?
My CTO actually put it on paper.
Oh, perfect.
Damn it. You knew that was coming.
I didn't actually know, but I'm gonna act like I knew that.
I'm gonna just spit it out. Are these other channels of revenue, and I hate this term, Robe Guy hates this term, but
Don't
do
say
they
it
center
then.
around monetizing the participant? And I don't mean that in a negative way. Like,
Right.
will you sell other things? I shouldn't say sell.
Right.
Set you up. Will you help those participants with other financial decisions in the future for a reasonable fee?
Potentially, or we'll partner with other companies that will do that.
You'll
That
give
are
them
better suited to
access.
do it, right?
You'll give them access to your.
Well, of course, it's 750,000 people, right?
Yeah,
Access
absolutely.
is
I mean,
massive.
we have reach. Look, we know what we're good at. And to your point, JD, like VCs obviously want their money back. A typical time period. Damn it.
It's
I
so
can
much
barely
harder
get
the
it.
more you drink.
Venture capitalists, they do want their money back. It's a typically 10 years, start to finish, right? So we're slightly.
Oh, interesting.
But Kevin, they just
A lot
don't
longer than I
want
thought
their
it'd be.
money back.
No, they don't.
They give you 300 million because they want 2 billion, or I'm making shit
Yeah,
up. I don't
absolutely.
know.
So look at like public market SaaS companies that are growing quickly like us. You're north of, what did I say? I don't even know. Damn,
Software
I
as a
said
service, I think it's called. I don't know. Let me
Cool.
give you some context real quick. So Voya is a big 401k record keeper. They have 510 billion and 6.5 million participants. Very different from you because they only have 51,000 plans. So obviously a different market there.
Yep.
With Secure 2.0, with the tax credits, I got to think that you feel like that's going to be a second wave of CalSavers for you, like nationally,
It's coming.
as well as other state mandated plans. You've already experienced California. This is going to happen in some other states. I'm assuming you think you can keep this pace up. And so are we going to look at Guideline in 5 years and you're going to have 100,000 plans? Is that the goal?
Yeah, absolutely. In 5 years, I mean, just extrapolate, 14, 15,000 per year. We're already at 41,000 plans.
Is there nowhere in the
over 100,000.
roadmap a plan of an initial public offering? Or would you, will I wake up and open the Wall Street Journal and see that you sold to fucking Voya in 3 years or something? I mean,
Maybe.
wow, I love this guy.
Right?
Oh,
Like,
wow. Yeah.
Here's how
Great
it
question.
works. And that's not my decision, just FYI. Like
Fair enough.
I have a board of directors.
Just
They're all the
for your
VCs.
information, that's an accuracy.
They're all the venture capitalists.
Fair enough.
Any valid offer for Guideline, I, as a fiduciary of Guideline, have to bring it to the board.
Understood.
And then it's a preferred stockholder. I'm not a preferred stockholder. I'm a common shareholder.
Right.
So it goes to a board vote. The board will vote on it.
Yeah, because those
Obviously, as the CEO, if they want to keep me around as the CEO, they're going to do any recommendation. Oh, that's an easy one.
no, that
We
makes
might
sense.
have a record breaker.
Those people that gave the 330 million, they deserve a right to say like, hey, we'd love to cash out at 1.5 billion. And by the way, for everyone listening in, I saw online, and so it doesn't make it true, but recent valuation of Guideline is north of $1 billion, right?
Yeah,
So,
1.1.
yeah.
Damn.
They got that evaluation from Robe Guy, but still. Okay, let's
Yeah, but
play-
look, like just to my point, if you take a public market valuation and you compare it to our revenue and the way that we are growing, you're right there, right? Like that's how you get to 1.1. Super easy. They put it 300 million. We're already at 1.1. We add 15 to 20,000 plans per year.
That's what it is.
You
Yeah,
know,
I don't-
we're right in this. We're right in the sweet spot. So
I don't
our
walk-
investors are very happy with us.
I don't walk in your circles, but if you do 100 million revenue and you have $1 billion valuation, obviously I know enough to know that can happen. It seems off to me, but then when I look at your growth and I look at the possibility of what other revenue lines that you might have and the power that you might have, I mean, I'm sure your VC people are look at companies like, and I'll drink for that, but like Fidelity and Voya and Vanguard and Principal, and think, oh my God, look, it took them 100 years to do this. Our boy Kevin is becoming a player in the market in fucking 8 years time. He's going to be right there alongside these people in 401k. So that's going to rise your valuation for sure. So I get it.
But you're JD, in terms of that comment though, don't ignore the fact that the names you just gave, you're only talking about comparison and revenue for them in the 401k space. All of his other businesses have thousands and thousands of employees and other lines of revenue that make
but
them
also
massive.
understand that Voya and Empower and whatever 401k is a big part of their pie, buddy.
Yeah.
Like it's massive part of their business.
sure.
Like, it takes over most of the pizza pie. Let's play a game.
Delightful right now.
Kevin, this is the
Right.
totally original, never duplicated, never copied, no per dope game.
Go for it, Joe.
This is a special edition of the No Per Dope game, because usually what we do is we go out on a pop culture and we try to find things that you would either say thumbs up to or thumbs down to.
I'm
But
gonna be terrible at this.
on today's show,
You'll be
you
good.
won't be, because on today's show, I was snooping around your personal Instagram, and every No Per Dope question is going to come from a picture in your Instagram that we're going to show the audience. Not only can you answer, you can tell us what's happening in this picture on your Instagram, Kevin. The first one is, I like to refer to it as Nacho Libre Mexican wrestling. I think it's called Lucha Libre. But what the fuck were you doing in Arena, Mexico at the side of this? And are you yay or nay on Nacho Libre wrestling?
This shit is so dope. I was in Mexico City with my girlfriend who is Mexican, and we snagged front row seats for like $30, and it was an amazing experience. Had like micheladas that are massive, you know.
I love micheladas.
Oh my God. And this was such an amazing experience. She's going to be psyched you put this on here.
I noticed though in Mexico, in the USA, why would I say it?
43.
The michelada is like this tomato based thing with the spicy stuff on the rim. When I'm in Mexico, and I order a michelada, I get something a little different. But I want you to know that Robe Guy is also dope on Mexican girlfriends.
She's my wife, by the way. Yeah, I'm a wife of, I don't know, 11 years.
Can
It's a
anybody
good
else
thing we don't have
here?
HR.
Yeah.
Can anybody else? Oh, Justin gets run out. Chime in on this one. I can't nope or dope this. I've never been to
No,
it.
I wasn't going to
Dope
ask
it,
you.
man.
Okay.
wasn't
Oh,
gonna
but I
ask you
want to
guys.
go. I desperately want to go, to be
$30 front
honest.
row.
It definitely looks like a fun time. This
Okay,
show
by
evolved.
show of
It's
hands,
too low cost
who
for JD,
used to
though.
watch wrestling growing up? Like World Wrestling Federation.
No.
No.
I wrestled the little
What?
dummies all the time, but I
dumb as
didn't watch
shit.
it.
Oh, come on,
All right.
guys.
Kate
Did you
on
even
here.
have a childhood if you didn't watch wrestling?
Next one.
Shame on you guys.
Next one. I thought I was better than all or most other human beings when I purchased my second Lambo. But I did not have an airplane. So nope or dope on owning your own fucking airplane. Tell me I'm wrong. That's your goddamn airplane.
That is, yes, that was my airplane. I just recently sold it.
No.
But I bought
Dude, you made me a liar.
this airplane to train on. This is that airplane that has a parachute that comes out of the fucking top of it. This is the only way I was going to do this. So I wanted to become a pilot. I've always wanted to become a pilot. In COVID, I decided to become a pilot, and I did it in this airplane.
And this
Damn.
one, you
It's
said you would only buy the one with a parachute. I get this. Because if something went wrong, you could just pull the thing and float down to
Fucking
safety.
shoot, man.
That's sick. All right.
And
I
the whole
don't,
You
airplane
guys,
comes
like
down.
a
It's
parachute on an airplane?
Yep.
The physics to that doesn't add up to me.
did
It
you?
does, man. Check out YouTube. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It works.
I love that. Did you upgrade the airplane? Do you have another one now? That's
No, I sold it mostly because I'm in a relationship with the Mexican lady, and I just fly commercial now.
okay. Fair enough.
But you guys could fly to Luce
It's
Libre.
like two.
No, you can't fly that far in that plane.
Oh, okay.
That's like a 500 nautical mile plane.
Oh, interesting.
And maintenance is a bitch, as somebody put in there. It's awful.
I can't imagine anyone would be nope on having your own little plane. That's pretty cool. Okay. Last one for the game.
I mean, he's kind of nope on having his own plane. He's
Hosting.
He had it. He had it for the time.
It
he
was
needed it.
dope, and then it became nope with all that maintenance.
Fair enough, Justin. That's an accurate statement. Posting pictures on Instagram of bars or the drink you got, because this seems to be a repeat fucking offense for you. Like you like to show us what you've been drinking and where. So you must be dope on this.
I imagine that's the bar in
It's a
your
real
house
rich boy
right
shit.
there, isn't it?
That is not the bar in my house,
Oh.
but the rest of these pictures are in my house. So I love making cocktails, and me and my co-founder love doing research at bars. And this is what we're going to do after we retire. So that's why you see these photos.
Is what, get drunk and die of
Yeah.
alcohol poisoning?
Yeah.
No.
It's gonna be fun. Like
No, man, that was a
Mark.
whiskey tasting. You get to taste it, right?
Roby,
Yeah.
nope or dope on people posting their alcoholic beverages?
I'm just nope on everything of anyone posting because I don't care, but that's just me, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm okay with it, I guess. So maybe.
Okay.
Nope.
Chad, you're a boomer. Nobody gives a shit what you think. Justin, nope
Ah.
or dope on posting alcoholic beverages?
depends on the frequency. If it's this much, I'm sorry, it's a nope.
You know that I'm a like
This is over like 3 years.
I got like 6 photos. Hey, we can't
You-
see that from here. This is
I'm
my
with you, I'm
perception right
with
now.
you.
we all know that I'm a clinically diagnosed alcoholic. I've never done this in my life. So I'm kind of nope on this too.
Dude, you've taken pictures of your
Yeah.
kegerator out
Hey,
back.
just
you know what
because,
posted it.
hey, you
The
just
hard
read shit
part
on
is-
stories.
Yeah. JD, nobody
Chugging.
wants to see pictures of tall cans of Miller Lite. Okay. At least Kevin's drinking good
He's
stuff.
making his own shit.
One
Okay.
of these, that Terramana shit, that's absolutely horrendous.
Is that the
Don't let
tequila
the
that
rock
the
tell
rock
you
sells?
or hear that.
That's
man.
the rock stuff. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
was
come
just
on.
showing that I
Can we-
tried it.
Can we also say this? Celebrities, can we stop having
know, I'm with you.
brands because they just suck. Yeah.
It's
Dude, I
awful.
agree,
They
but
don't
these
though.
guys
Didn't
are
Ryan
making
Reynolds just
millions
become a
of
billionaire?
Hey, Kevin, can you quit Guideline and just start making booze? You sound like you look like you probably know what you're doing.
could
Probably
make
make
some
more
booze.
money quicker.
Maybe that's what I do.
Pivot,
Yeah.
pivot. I like
Pivot?
that. Hey, just so you know, Clooney invested like, someone fact checked me on this, but I think he invests like $250,000 or something.
That was a win. I get it. Like,
And
that was smart.
he
Yeah.
made hundreds of millions of dollars.
But then
himself.
everybody else is trying to do the same thing. Like now Diddy did Ciroc. That was a great deal. He didn't invent it. He just decided to bring it over to everybody. Though they were ahead of the curve.
I know some professional surfers that were behind the St. Archer's beer brand. They sold out and made a shit ton of money. So anyways, it can happen.
Anybody tired of seeing Mark Wahlberg and his 3 a.m. workouts and whatever booze he's pushing? It probably sucks.
Kevin, I'm just saying, you might want to revisit that roadmap and throw a little, little alcohol action in here. I don't know. We're never like tied to this 5:30 thing, but we can push it to the after show. So we'll see if Kevin sticks around for the after show.
I'll stick around.
Let's do last show's chap, our champion. Congratulations to Hackler. He was last show's chap, our champion. Now, Hackler, we love you. And so our intention to give you a gift is a deep one. We want to get all of us together and really come up with something like glorious. We're flakes. We're procrastinators. We didn't make that happen.
We have
Don't
day
lump us in
jobs.
with that with you.
So we just did a little like, what's it called? Amuse bouche, a little like a little setup. So Brandon, if you could throw up on the screen,
Amuse
bouche.
Why did you order him fish?
My daughter lives in Paris and she always fucking gets mad at me when I try to pronounce it. Yeah, you shouldn't say the fucking E on the end of that shit. It seems Parisian to me though to say it. We sent him some crickets, some red shrimp, and some grasshoppers.
Are these edible?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you're
For
supposed to feed
humans?
them to
Oh,
like
yeah.
your iguanas
Oh.
and stuff or your
I
pets.
thought they were
your
live
pets.
when we were texting about it today.
So anyways, Hackler, you got those. I know you got them because you texted me. Jason Grant's very high in protein. Yeah, Jason was saying on a group text that people eat these are delicacies around the world, grasshoppers. And he said shrimps were the grasshopper of the ocean. So yeah, if Hackler wants to dig in, he can. But Hackler, stay tuned.
You guys know they used to serve lobsters in prison on the East Coast because there was like an abundance of them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Lobsters were like
Chickens?
chicken. Like
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't realize
super
that.
low end. I wasn't gonna say peasant food, but you said it.
So Hackler and everyone tuning in, your Chat Bar Champion prize is not done. We intend.
Yeah, this is just buying us time.
You will get a Chat Bar Champion prize that has never been seen before. We just don't know what it is yet. So this is just a little taste.
Oh, maybe we can get Kevin to fly us to Hackler's house to do something.
No,
Yeah,
500
it's 400
nautical miles, man. Not
And
gonna
he-
be
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
And he got rid of the plane because
Oh, that's right.
I won't repeat why. That didn't make sense to me, but
So are
It's
you gonna get a
expensive,
different
man. I
plan or are you
wasn't
done?
using it.
okay. So tonight we will vote for Chat Bar Champion so we can close out this regular show and kind of go into the after show a little bit. I don't even know if I have a vote. Justin, who's your vote for Chat Bar Champion?
And Mrs. S. Woods.
Oh, nice. Okay. Fuck. All right. I'm gonna go last. Chad, your vote for Chat Bar Champion.
I'm going away from Shannon, although she was fantastic and brutally honest towards Kevin. And it was from one comment. It was Dave and Kay when he told Kevin he needs to shake down Empower style to start get some revenue share from the mutual fund companies. I
I think
love
we
that
need 10
shit.
billion, right? I think that's when they told us. They told us to piss
it's hard to
off
get-
or
it's
till
hard to
the-
Piss off till you got 10 billion?
Yeah. That's how it works.
Interesting.
I was gonna say it's hard to get pay to play when all your funds are Vanguard funds, but okay.
That's true.
Roby?
I'm just gonna go with it. I like new names in the chat bar. No offense to all you regulars. You know, it's like going to a bar, and I just envision all of our chat bar champions just always at the bar, just hammered drunk. And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, I want someone new to walk through the door. Michelle Cobble.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was pretty active.
Good night, Michelle.
I missed the
Um,
Pornhub analogy.
The
Yeah,
Pornhub analogy was solid. I think that was David K too, wasn't it?
I
I forget
missed
what
it.
that was. Kevin, your vote amongst all these haters in the chat bar. Who will you choose?
I don't know. I don't know that maybe they're haters and they're right wrong.
Vote for Jim Sampson. It would be epic if you did.
I don't know Jim. I couldn't read the
Do
name.
you know anyone
in
in
the
here?
comments. I missed it. Too fast. I'm not up to speed. I think it was David something said, thanks for coming. So I'll take that one.
Wow. Is that David K? So
No,
David K's got
probably.
2 votes. Shannon's got 1 and Michelle Cobble. I kind of liked Shannon's blood pressure vibe. Like she was really pissed. I could feel it actually like in my bones about all this. But I like Mark's little someone new. So yeah.
Someone knew who was. I'm gonna sell this, dude. Fuck it. She was willing to just go for it, and we don't get a lot of people who
Right.
jump into this.
Yeah.
They get nervous for sure.
Yeah.
Cobble it is. Michelle Cobble, you are the chat bar
Ooh, we got a
champion for
showdown.
tonight. We will be
Wait.
sending you in 2 weeks a bunch of
on.
crazy ass shit.
Didn't we have
We're gonna give you a free subscription to Guideline,
2 and 2?
right, Kevin?
No.
No, I don't
Okay,
think so.
cool.
Yeah, everybody's saying it is a tie because you
It's a
had
tie?
2 Michelles and
Yeah.
2 David K's.
2 David K's. All right, fuck. Okay, let's break the tie. The tie is broken and it's
That's
what I was
nice, Brandon.
That was a glitch.
Fucking love it.
Technology
That's
glitch.
awesome.
Hey, fuck David K. Fuck us. All right, let's go. Kevin, thanks for hanging out with us.
Sure.
Congrats on all of your success. And I want to publicly apologize to you right now. Like, you don't know this, but I've literally been at national conferences in front of audiences on a hot mic and said, fuck a Guideline, fuck their shit. And so I apologize. You truly are a smart entrepreneur. You saw a pathway, you built your roadmap, you're crushing it. And you know what? You are helping the coverage gap. So we got the people in Washington that are struggling with our current system that's not doing what they think it should be doing. And companies like yours are helping us with that. And so we really should stop talking so much smack about you and kind of bring you into our fold. And maybe we can start to
I would just like to say I've never talked
with
any
you.
shit. Just
I'm just seeing these comments with like the IRS and this is over, right? I don't have to drink this shit
yeah,
anymore.
you're good.
IRS,
Yeah, you're
DOL, like we've already had those audits, guys. Like we have third-party audits. Like
Hey, Kevin.
it's not like we're just like skirting under the thing.
Kevin,
They're not worried about
$9
you.
billion
They're
assets.
worried about the process and the individual
Oh,
plan.
Kevin.
Those small market plans aren't seeing the IRS or DOL audits.
Kevin.
Absolutely, they are. Absolutely.
No. They
No,
don't
not.
get those
Yeah, they
audits.
do, because you get a complaint of something, right? Like, or somebody goes under, or somebody's going out of business. They absolutely
Oh, sure.
do.
Well, what I wanted to back you up is that paychecks and actual whatever fucking service company, they also this industry been talking shit about them for the last 15 years. So what we're
Yeah.
worried about is the quality of work that they're doing. And anytime we feel like people are trying to create efficiencies and use technology, there's an onus. This is, by the way, this is an
get it.
old school, new school debate
Totally
about
get it, man.
everything. This
Look,
is
I'm
It's-
not here to drink anybody's milkshake, right?
No,
Like, it's
yeah.
not what I'm doing. Like, we have
Yeah.
another platform for advisors. If you guys can figure out how to do some value add on top of it, more power to you. Like,
Well,
we literally just want to make it accessible to everybody.
You should
And that
probably
is really
bring us
what I'm going
in
after.
as consultants for you.
well.
that
here's
again,
what I would
JD,
say.
Or just handle the
The
administration.
truth is when the industry, and I'm talking about the folks in the chat bar and myself, when we feel our value is diminished by setting up a plan in 9 minutes, that's when we get defensive because we know what
Totally.
we've been doing
Bullshit.
for 15 years.
Bullshit. You feel threatened, Chad. You're
Well,
scared.
here's what
It's
I
not
think.
threatening,
Look,
it's
I
really
get
not.
it. Like on plans
That's
that are
not it.
super complicated, I understand the value add. I'm not fighting you guys on that.
Well, it's not that
Right?
complicated, Kevin. I think
Well-
the simplest of plans are the ones that get fucked up the most. So it's not about like cross-tested profit sharing and different dual eligibility and all that kind of shit. It's literally the simple one. So we have a program that's similar to yours. We call it Kickstart. And basically all the decisions are taken out of the client's hands. Like they're kind of forced into a square box, if you will, square hole. And they fuck it up all the time. And the reason they fuck it up is because they're left to their own devices. But what I wanted to do is back you up and tell everyone in our industry, what we need to do is start talking less shit about Kevin, Guideline, and some of his peers. I'm going to ask you about human interest in the after show. Because what we should be doing is actually learning from them a little bit.
Absolutely.
And
Yes.
learning from how they're succeeding. Obviously, everything Kevin's doing is not all wrong, everybody out there. He's doing some phenomenal things. So what can we learn from him? And can we tweak? Can we pivot our business model to be more like Guidelines? And I know that's probably
We
pissing a lot
have
of you off,
to survive.
anyways, let's
We
wrap this
need
with some
to.
music. Kevin, thank you for being with us. We'll head to the after show. Everyone who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks. We're going to have Scott Colangelo.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, by the way, everybody, stick with us through, what are we in, May right now? May,
Mhm.
June, July. We have got some phenomenal guests on the fucking roster coming up. So some big dogs. We got Fred Reish later this month that we'll be doing a live show with. So check that out.
Let me tell you about my best
My
friend.
buddy Fred. And so thanks for tuning in. Keep tuning in. Kevin, thanks for being here amongst all the
Thank you.
shit
Thanks
that
for
we
having
gave
me,
you.
guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
And
Don't-
let's play some music.
Don't
I'm
leave.
gonna take a piss. Are you out, Justin?
I live and
No,
going.
I got a few. I got a few.
practice.
I'll
Later,
be back
Mark.
in
Thanks,
30.
I'll be
Kevin.
back in a
Like-
second.
8.5 minutes. Kevin, we're going Pete. Don't worry.
Kevin, sit there awkwardly by yourself while the music.
I'm gonna go too. I'm gonna get a fresh one. I'll be back.